Hello, hey, hi, how are you? We are back and we are going to jump into the energies for this week. And we had a portal on the 20th, and I talked all about it on Instagram. So if you haven't seen it already, if you're not familiar, you can head over there and check in with all of that information. We have a couple others kind of finishing up the month, but we also have this week our last super moon of 2021, and we have been kind of in this portal, this bigger energetic portal, in which all of these events have kind of simultaneously been back to back to back to back to back. And it started with this super full moon in Scorpio, and it was this huge kind of cosmic clearing that happened as a means of really going deep, finalizing, finishing, tying up the loose ends, and moving this phase, this cycle into completion. We have been in a deep integrative space, a very much so in between phase for a long time now. Many of you guys I know are like, what the heck? Yes, I'm aware, and when is it ending? And the thing about this is it never ends. We continue to upgrade. We will continue to move through this process. But what I've learned on my own is it gets easier when we loosen our grip and stop trying to control and release the resistance, which is what this time period has been all about, is really focusing on the hidden aspects of our being, the things that we don't normally focus on, the things that we normally do not see, the hidden aspects of ourselves. Wow, if I could talk. Of ourselves, and bringing them to the surface, and so this full moon this week is kind of the main energy, the main theme of this energy. We've been wrapping up things, bringing them to completion, and with so it's kind of a weird, unique kind of full moon. Of course, why not wrap it up with the last supermoon with a really weird one? So it's actually stationed in the sign of Capricorn, but it is transiting the constellation of Sagittarius. And the two signs, Capricorn comes right after Sagittarius, but they're very different energies. One's fire, one's earth. And so we're kind of getting a mix of both energies in this super full moon that we have on the 24th. And what this is doing, so we had the first full moon eclipse in Sagittarius, and that was a major release, a major clearing, a major letting go, a major cutting ties, a major kind of getting down into the soul depths of your being, kind of taking some solitude, taking some rest. Then we had that second solar eclipse, new moon in Gemini, again, clearing, releasing. And this one that we have kind of coming after it all is kind of finalizing this phase and wrapping it all up. And so this week, a lot of it is going to be wrapping up old energies, letting go, releasing of old patterns, old conditionings, old people, old soul contracts, everything and anything. And really being able to surrender into the present moment of now, knowing that you don't need anything and require nothing else outside of you in order to be happy, in order to know who you are. And it is, in fact, when you surrender to the present moment, you stop trying to control, and you stop trying to figure it out, and you stop trying to figure out your next steps, because I know there are many people in an in-between phase right now, in this cliffhanger space. When you stop trying to figure it out and you allow everything to just be, in that moment you begin to recognize your authentic truth. And on the 20th, this portal that we had, it was all about beginning to open and integrate in new soul blueprints. However, the way that I like to view it is it's more so regenerating those soul blueprints. So we come in at the beginning of time, our first incarnation, the first essence of our soul in the way it incarnated. And think of this as a paper. You wrote a paper, you turn it in, and then as you go about life, there's corrections made in big red pen, and those corrections then kind of overlap and kind of cover up and correct and sort of fix or change that original paper. And that's what happens to our soul blueprints as we continue to live and incarnate in form with conditions, beliefs, trauma. It's those big red markers that come through and it's like, nope, nope, cross that out on my soul blueprint. And we're gonna do this instead because that's what X, Y, and Z has taught me, etc. and so on. So we have been in a deep space of kind of removing all of those red marks to return to our original soul blueprints, which required us to move through tons of past life clearing as well, because our soul carries that with us. And our body has now been moving through that. The body is the last to release, the body is the last to purge. Like I mentioned, this portal has been opening up our physical sense of self as a means of releasing those red marks from our physical self. So you may have noticed that you have a lot of people, I can see reemergence of past illnesses, reemergence of health issues, and just like things like that. And I mentioned a lot of people kind of letting go of old beliefs, mindsets, etc. And we've been working on that for a while, but really at this time, it's really about the physical body, integrating, resting, and kind of releasing further, working up to this full moon that we have. And with the full moon, what is happening is it's kind of coinciding with this portal that we had on the 20th, where it's expanding that energy further, and we're downloading and integrating at a conscious level of awareness our soul blueprints. And so it's like they're cleared, they're erased, and then we re-download them so that they can come in untouched, uncorrected, just reset, totally reset. And so that's what's happening now. And this is leading to a lot of transitions in career, purpose, mission. There's so many people that think that their life purpose is their career. Your life purpose is not your career. Your life purpose is remaining in a human body while sort of holding a higher awareness. That's everyone's purpose. I hate to say it, but it's as simple as that. It's to enjoy the experience of being alive in a human body and embracing the sensations and senses that we have within this experience. You don't need to transcend your human form. And that's what a lot of people are coming into at this time, is this balance between their spirituality. So a lot of people are being asked to sort of release what they've been taught, what they're seeing from other people. If you're still watching if you're still watching my stuff, if you're still watching other people's stuff, if you're still watching spiritual teachers' stuff, and you're still taking everything in without filtering whether this resonates with you or not, or this doesn't resonate with you, then I suggest you to start using your own discernment and checking in with yourself to see if things actually resonate with you. Is what this person's saying regarding spirituality, regarding the spiritual teachings, regarding energy, regarding whatever it may be, whether it's in the realm of spirituality or outside of it, is it actually resonant to me and my beliefs? Or does this feel out of alignment? Does this make me feel anxious and scared? Or does this make me feel more self-assured, more grounded, more balanced, more harmonious? Does this help me feel more at peace? And that's what you need to begin asking yourself at this time, because we are beginning to create and form a new foundation underneath our feet. A lot of people have been going through root chakra clearings, clearing out the old past karmic debris and energies, and this time is definitely about that as well. And as we're working up to this full moon, a lot of that's going to be releasing from the physical body, again, and clearing, especially during 2 to 4 a.m., lots of that, like I mentioned on Instagram. And again, you can go head over there and check out the full post if you have missed it. But essentially this week we have this full moon, and what's happening is it's coming in and it's making us look forward with the Sagittarius energy. So we're looking forward, we're taking action, we're taking movement, we're taking momentum, we're just going. Sagittarius is an adventurous energy, it's a seeking energy, and it's truth energy. It's really firmly rooted and grounded in itself. And it doesn't seek externally, it seeks internally for the deeper wisdom of the soul. It's higher philosophical understanding and awareness, as well as letting the body be more of this intuitive vessel to just take off and go and seeing life as this journey rather than a destination. And so there's a lot of that action and oriented momentum kind of coming through into us that's gifting us this power to just embrace the journey and move forward and get going and kind of pave this new pathway. Sagittarians are very much so kind of trailblazers in a sense that they don't need anyone else to come with them. They're not going to wait for anyone else to come with them, and they're certainly not going to wait for anyone else to validate their experience or what they want to do. And they don't look to anything outside of themselves to tell themselves what to do. They just go, and they trust their inner body's intuition to just navigate. And they're very future forward, very thinking. They're always kind of like, what's next? Okay, I did this. What's next? What's the next thrill? What's the next adventure? What's the next step? Where's the next place that I'm going to travel to? Where is the next thing? And so there is this momentum behind forward momentum, very much so forward momentum, moving forward, taking this journey, leaping into the unknown and trusting with full faith that everything is a part of this journey. And there is more trust and intuitive guidance coming through the body at this time, which is why leading up to this, we are purging and clearing from that space, especially. And at the same time though, you have Capricorn energy coming through, and this is grounding energy. This is very like planned, traditional kind of energy. And so this is also sort of more so moving in what's worked and proven to work in the past. And so with these two energies, what we're going to be doing and what a lot of this energy is going to be symbolizing is kind of looking back and reflecting, where have you come? Like, how far have you come from the start of this year? What have you been through? What lessons have you learned? It's a deep integration and reflection of everything that's come through in the first part of this year, because we are at the halfway mark. And then how can you plan and sort of outline what you're wanting to do, what you're wanting to be, where you're wanting to go, and take momentum towards that for the rest of this year. And that's kind of the big overview. There's a lot of people moving through throat chakra clearings at this time. There's Joan of Arc coming through and Kali Ma coming through, as well as the Divine Director and Matahar Babashi. There's a lot of soul contracts being cut with Grain Tara coming through. So there's a lot of shifts, changes, redirections. There's going to be things coming. Don't be so straight and narrow on your path. Allow yourself to go down this new path, because there's definitely divine intervention happening, redirection happening, and it's almost like you're having to jump. You're having to make a jump, and the universe is sort of guiding you into this new pathway and helping you face your fears, knowing that they're illusions, knowing that they can't control you. And that you have to release your fear in order to move forward. You have to release fear in order to move into a space that is sort of more expansive for you. This is bringing a lot of people clarity and understanding on how they're meant to be moving forward. A lot of people in the void space are going to be seeing clarity around what's happening, what's coming into culmination, coming through into them. This is bringing more answers, more awareness as to where we're headed next. So we're pulling a couple cards here, and straight away we have kind of this old energy that's finishing up and wrapping up. We have Reclaim Your Energy and this beautiful Home card. This is all about taking back your power, reclaiming your sense of self, and allowing yourself to come into the fullness of your being. Letting go and releasing anything that does not align with your energy any longer. With soul contracts rearranging, we have a lot of stuff coming up around relationships, home, family, the dynamics of the divine feminine and the divine masculine. So what are the outdated beliefs around gender roles, around sort of work, play, and relationships do you need to let go of? Where in your life are you not receiving an equal give and take and balance within your relationships? Where are you still holding on to things that are not draining your energy or not serving you? It's time to reclaim your power and understand that you are whole within yourself. You don't need anything outside of yourself to complete you. you. You are complete as you are. Stop fragmenting yourself and putting yourself in boxes as a means of trying to define your worth and who you are. Stop trying to define who you are based on spiritual terms. There's a large group of people that are needing to shed a lot of egoic spirituality as a means of being able to connect with their truth. There's a lot of people that are needing to let go of sort of spiritual bypassing to, it's almost like there's a lot of people picking up from the collective that have been so immersed in the spiritual experience that they've almost forgot themselves within it all. So come back to yourself, return to yourself, because when you return to your humanness, when you return to the heart that beats within your chest, you're going to see the pathway become really clear. You have to get grounded in yourself. You have to get rooted in who you are, and you have to really come home to the truth that lies within you in order to move forward at this time. Otherwise, clarity is going to seem really hazy. So there's a lot of this happening, and this is kind of the energy that we've been working with and moving through, and this is going to be kind of reaching this completion point for a lot of people. There's a lot of soul contracts ending, relationships ending, friendships need to go, work relationships and companions need to go, so that new contracts can be kind of embedded into your life. Then we have kind of the crystal keys, and we have communication, co-creation. All right, so there's going to be a higher awareness integrating into a lot of people, a higher perspective integrating into a lot of people. We also are going to bring in the Starseer card just to complete the message here. But yeah, there are a lot of people that are going to be seeing clearly now. They're going to be understanding their path and the way that they have walked in their journey, and understanding with greater depth and awareness why they have been through what they've been through, what this purpose and what the purpose has been for the entirety of it. Everything's going to be starting to connect. Everything's going to be starting to come together. With this card, it's almost like beginning to recognize all of the triggers, all of the trauma, all of that you've endured, everything that you've been through is coming to a culminating point, and you're beginning to understand with greater clarity and depth, and seeing with greater depth the process in which this has served and the ways in which you have learned. And it's almost like an ability to see now why you needed to move through everything you needed to move through, and beginning to see this process as your greatest strength, beginning to put all of the pieces together in order to form the greater and bigger picture of how you're meant to be moving forward. Again, we're talking about this reflection energy, reflecting on what you've needed to move through within this year. This has been a big year so far for a lot of people, especially in the internal state. So what have you been moving through? What have been your biggest triggers lately, especially in the space that we have been in recently? What has been coming up for you, and how can you see it at a greater depth and level now, where you're honoring the strengths that you are now embedded with and are now here to share with the collective? Communication is coming through, downloads are coming through, insights are coming through around sort of the greater lessons, the greater meaning and greater purpose for all of this. So it's really paving this clear collective pathway for kind of the deeper understanding and awareness. And again, with Sagittarius energy, it's this deep internal journey. It's not always external. And when it is external, it's almost looking beyond the surface to find the hidden meanings, hidden understanding, and more so than anything, hidden truth behind everything. And so what now can you see as your truth emerging? What now do you see as the truth that is being illuminated for you? Where can you find your truth within all of the chaos at this time? Because that's what you're being asked to do. It's illuminating a lot of it's like everything finally rising to the surface so that you can see it clearly. So you can see yourself clearly more than anything, and really begin to cut away anything else, any of those ties that are no longer serving you. We're going to jump into some original tarot just to see what we are being asked to release. We're being asked to release as a collective. Yeah, okay. Sure. What we're being asked to release at this time is, of course, you have the Five of Cups. And this is about focusing on what isn't working, looking at everything that is falling away, everything that has been deteriorating at this time, everything that's been crumbling. A lot of people think that everything's going wrong for them, that their world's being turned upside down, that nothing's really moving, nothing's really working out. But can you really see what's happening? Can you see the abundance that's coming into your life? Can you come into the state of gratitude for where you are now? Because when you come into the state of the present moment and you stop focusing on what isn't working or what's going wrong or what has gone wrong, you begin to see the truth. And in that space, you begin to find yourself. You begin to reclaim your energy. When you're focused on negativity, when you're focused on what hasn't worked, you're bringing that energy. You're giving your energy away to that. You're continuing to give your energy away to something that was just merely there to redirect you. And that's what I'm getting a lot of. It's almost like feeling like this isn't working out, this isn't working out, this isn't working out. What if what's not working out right now is actually redirection? Can you realign your mind to a state where you are in a more co-creative space? Can you look around you and see everything else that is around you? Look at all this landscape, look at everything around him, and all he's doing is focusing on what's on the spill and what's not working out. How can you lift your head and see clearly the abundance of what is around you? So releasing that negative viewpoint and hyperfixation on what's not working. There's also and this is emotional energy, guys. There's emotions flowing, emotions releasing. And there's the Four of Cups as well. It's almost like you're not seeing clearly what's being offered to you at this time because you're too busy pouting over what's not working. You're too busy sort of focusing on what's not working that you're not able to clearly see the new offers that are coming in, and this is distorting your vision. Meanwhile, you're continuing to work harder, to grind, to do more, and pushing past the exhaustion, pushing past what your body truly needs, pushing past the space to integrate. You need to go step by step, but you need to release this overly doing, overly working, overly asserting yourself as a means of being able to come into the more fluid state of being, this more the state of flow and kind of more so alignment. You don't need to work and effort. There's a lot of people that will disagree with me, but that's fine. But in my perspective and what I've learned and what I know I'm here to share with other people is that we don't have to be working in order to receive. You have to be aligning in order to receive. When you're aligned, that doesn't mean that you don't go to work and you have a career or whatever it may be. It doesn't mean that you don't have that. It means that what you're doing is not work. It becomes more of a practice of amplifying your energy, expanding your energy, and sharing your gifts with passion rather than efforting, forcing, grinding. And what else do we need to step into? Of course. Wow. Just cards flying everywhere. What's the collective need to step into this week? Again, cards flying. One card at a time, please. Oh. Again, we are talking about masculine and feminine energies. Again, this whole process is about the balancing of the masculine and feminine energies, which is what we're coming into. And so it's almost like the masculine energies wanting to work, wanting to force, wanting to do. Feminine energies being hyper emotional over what's not working. And so it's like they're both kind of out of alignment and needing to reach alignment. So what we're being asked to step into is the abundance of the feminine, trust and faith in our own intuition to see that when we are allowing ourselves to flourish, allowing ourselves to be as we are, coming into our authentic truth, that we don't need to effort, we don't need to work. We don't need to put in all of this energy, and we don't need to hyper focus on what's not happening and what's not working, because we see that right where we are is where the abundance is and where it's wanting to come through to us. In our passive state of receptivity, of the intuitive understanding of the steps that are needing to move forward, we begin to understand the abundance that we already have and the abundance that's already come to us and begin to actually take motion on it. So we're needing to step into that divine feminine energy, the abundance of the divine feminine, confidence, courage, your self-worth. Self-worth is a huge one right now. So self-worth, what have you been waiting to do because you haven't been feeling worthy of it? In terms of career, there's a lot of people in transition in career, and in terms of career, a lot of lack of self-belief that you can actually do this, that you're qualified, that you are enough, that you can, and lack of clarity has prevented people moving forward. So that's kind of clearing, and this is like very assured, self-assured, very understanding of the self, very grounded and centered within your self-worth. And that's what we're needing to be sort of stepping into. And it's also the divine feminine. It's also sort of like abundance, luck. It's almost like reaping the benefits of what's been coming in and coming to you. But you have to be in that passive state. You have to be connected and grounded within your essence, and really allow yourself to come into your humanness and your spiritualness in one shape and form. This is what we're being asked to step into. Okay, we have the King of Swords reversed. Okay, let your guard down, masculine. Again, masculine energy is wanting to push ahead, move forward, guard the heart, protect the self, protect the vulnerability, but it's almost like let it go, let the guard down, let everything go, surrender your sword, and allow yourself to come into this state. Then we have the Seven of Cups and Ace of Pentacles. There's abundance wanting to come into you. Can you step into the divine abundance that you already are without needing anything outside of you? Can you step into an abundance mindset, knowing that already within you have trillions of cells which account and amount to abundance? You are abundance in and of itself. Where have you not seen and recognized the abundance that you are? Where have you not been seeing the true worth within your form? Where have you not been allowing that to come through? You are a divine miracle in and of itself. Where have you not allowed yourself to see that and see that that is worthy in your most authentic truth? Not when you are putting on a show, not when you are wearing masks or trying to impress people, but in your authentic, stripped down, raw, real self. Whether you are crying on the floor, whether you are dancing in your car, whether you are at a board meeting, whether you are playing sports, whether you're at the gym, no matter what you're doing or where you are, no matter where you think you are, no matter what your mindset is, you are worthy and deserving of anything and everything you want. Your natural state is abundance. We've been working on this for some time now. Come into the natural state of abundance that lives within you. Know that all hard work is paying off. This is a karmic repayment. There's karmic repayment wanting to come through for a lot of you. We have a portal on the 28th that has Lord Krishna and Lord Ganesh, and it is an abundance portal. There's Isis coming through really strongly with this energy as well. And this is the energy that comes when we align with our most authentic self and truth, when we align with the earth, when we align with spirit as a means of being a channel, seeing that we are abundance because we are all. And when we are all, when we are connected to the ground, when we are rooted within our human form and self, and yet we are having this higher conscious awareness, we become the abundance that we seek. And we no longer begin to seek externally. We no longer begin to seek outside of ourselves for anything and anything at all, or anyone at all, to validate that abundance, because we become it. And when you become the abundance and you step into the worth and the knowing of that worth and the abundance that you inherently are without needing to do or become anything, you become that magnet. You become an attractor for everything that is abundance and aligned with abundance. So that's what you're needing to align to. And then with this energy here, it's almost like, where are you not? This is like stepping into seeing all of the different opportunities coming through into you now. There's so many different opportunities, so many different things, so many different places, so many different spaces that you can come into. Allow your ideas and the way that they flow to come into you in a natural way. Maybe you write them all down. It's almost like a lot of different things coming through at once for the collective. I see the mind space being really sort of all over the place for a lot of people because they're downloading new blueprints, new understanding, new ideas. There's new ideas, new creative inspiration. There's new contracts. There's new people. It's almost like there's new adventures coming through. This is also sort of mapping out the Capricorn energy. Picking up a lot of this Capricorn energy of like, okay, mapping out the plan and like rough drafting your life for the next 6 months here. What do you want to happen in the next 6 months? Where do you want to go? The opportunities are endless. This is also about stepping into seeing the truth behind the illusions with that Sagittarius energy, really allowing yourself to see the truth behind the illusions and not getting caught up in the appearance of things. Don't get caught up in the way that things look, because they're not going to appear as they seem. Allow yourself to hone into your own intuitive insight and gifts. Again, hone into your own intuitive insights and gifts. Come into the abundance of yourself, knowing that you don't need to protect yourself any longer from the illusions, that the illusions will pass, and that they actually move quickly out of your life when you allow yourself to release this need to put your guard up. There's nothing to guard yourself from. The fear is the illusion itself. The idea that you need to protect yourself from anything is the illusion of itself. There's no need to protect yourself. There is only what is your truth and what is not your truth. Just because something is not your truth does not mean that it is out to get you. Really realign with that energy. Realign with the abundance that is your natural state. When you're in an abundant state, your heart is open, your mind is clear, and you're able to clearly see what opportunities are aligned with your highest trajectory and what are not. You're able to clearly see all of the opportunities available to you and pick and choose the one that you want. There is divine alignment that's happening that's not against, it's almost like, okay, you don't have a choice, like this is happening, but you have the choice on how you respond. So how are you responding to things? Are you responding from this guarded perspective? Are you responding from this guarded perspective and putting up your guard and not making any choices? Are you focusing on what is no longer working and simply not accepting these new opportunities that are coming through, not choosing to see them, not choosing to acknowledge them? Are you continuing to go down this pathway, working harder, pushing more, trying to force things forward? Because there is a new pathway that's opening up for you that is built on that inherent worth of abundance that you are, and it is opening up new doors, new pathways, new opportunities, new connections. But you have to begin to see past the illusions that have been created with those long-standing karmic soul blueprints, again, those markings, those corrections, in order to see everything that's coming to you. Where can you get out of your own way and allow yourself to see from a higher perspective? Where can you allow yourself to hone into your heart space as a means of knowing what is next? When you come into the knowing of your heart, you clearly understand and see the pathway before you. When you're focused on the mind and clearly trying to figure out the pathway before you, utilizing the analytical side of yourself, you're not able to clearly see in front of you. This is when we begin to stress, when we feel lost, when we feel confused, when we feel disconnected. Well, we need to reconnect to our heart. The heart is the key to the pathway that is unraveling for us now. Reconnect to yourself. Come home to yourself. Come home to your heart and allow yourself to reclaim your energy. Allow yourself to know that all of the triggers, all of the things that you have been facing have been not in vain. You have been in a period in the space of facing your fears in order to arrive at the next point, to see that all fear is an illusion. Return to the heart and let yourself know that love is the only thing that is real, and that is the thing that is guiding you. What gets you excited? What makes you happy? What makes you feel joy? How can you show up for yourself every day to bring yourself joy? Joy isn't something that's disconnected from you. Joy isn't something that is conditional. Happiness isn't something that's conditional. You can have all of the money in the world and still be unhappy. You can have the car, you can have the Porsche, you can have the girlfriend, you can have the boyfriend, you can have the job, you can have the house, you can have the kids, you can have everything you've wanted and still be really unhappy. And so in this space and time, we're building that strong foundation of our authentic soul blueprint, that strong foundation of our authentic self. That authentic self comes from recognizing your inherent worth without anything external needed or necessary. So how can you show up for yourself every single solitary day in happiness, in abundance, in your self-worth? Because that is what this is teaching us. If you haven't been doing that so far this year, that's okay, because we've been on this journey of finding our footing, of being able to understand how to walk this pathway of, in the physical form, and remaining centered within our spiritual form, remaining grounded in our knowing, remaining centered within our heart space. So this has kind of been a big integration phase, a big sort of learning phase for us, learning how to integrate both realms in one form. And so what have you learned so far? What's the biggest lessons? What have you been able to develop? Do you find yourself still triggered and upset by external comings and goings? Or do you find yourself more at peace and just more kind of whatever about it? And how can you begin to utilize this new foundation and this new grounding and your new sense of worth in order to move forward? What opportunities now do you wish to pursue now that you found this most authentic self? Now that you're beginning to uncover and reveal your most authentic self, what no longer feels aligned? Where do you find yourself having to force yourself into doing things? Where do you find yourself procrastinating? because that is going to demonstrate to you what's no longer in alignment and where you're forcing your energy, forcing that momentum, forcing that work, where you need to release your guard, where you need to let yourself be more vulnerable and tap into your more intuitive self and into your heart space as a means of helping you navigate forward. What is your heart called to? What does your heart truly desire? Anything that is out of alignment with your heart is not going to manifest. If you're asking why things are not coming, why things are not coming, why things are not coming, and you feel like you've been in a long standing wait and things are not manifesting for you, maybe it's time to release that. Maybe it's time to let go of what you think you want, to allow what you need to come through, what your soul wants, what your heart wants to come through. Maybe it's time to sit with yourself and place your hands on your heart and be brutally honest with yourself and say, what is it that I want? Is it this car? What do I think that car is going to make me feel? What do I think that car is going to do for me? Is it really the car that I'm desiring, or is it the feeling that I'm wanting from that? And really getting clear on where what you've been trying to call into your life is probably not aligned. If you've been trying to call in a specific person into a relationship with you, where can you let go of that person so the person that you've been calling in can come through? Sometimes we attach to these specific things of what we want and how it should look and how it should be done, that we can't actually open to receive what we're wanting because it's in a different form. And if we're not expanded to that state, we can't receive it. It can't come through. So where are you still clinging to very specific ideals, people, places, jobs, things, the how of how things should manifest in your life? Where are you still holding on to the old ideas, mindsets, beliefs? Where are you still holding on to identities of like what you think you should do, what someone else has taught you to do, what someone else has demonstrated to you as a relationship? Maybe that doesn't resonate with you anymore. Check in with yourself and see if there's been long-standing issues throughout this year. Maybe it's time to release that in order to allow something else to come through. Maybe that goes against what you truly think within your mindset, but your heart knows that this is what's right. If you're, not aligning in the workspace and the workspace isn't happy for you, but you've been told and your mind thinks, well, this is how I'm going to reach success, but your heart knows something different. Follow your heart. Where are you not following your heart at this time, and where can you tap further into your heart? And that's what this time is really all about, is grounding into our present moment and tapping into our heart space. I love you, and I hope that you have a great week and a happy full moon.